What is up, Texas hockey fans, and welcome back to Clean Sheet of Ice, a Texas hockey podcast presented by Apollo Media. Shout out to our sponsor, Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. Go get it wherever you get Bloody Mary mix. They've also got margarita mix, Michelob mix. They got all the things. America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. Zing Zang, Zang responsibly. Shout out to Prize Picks. Use code Apollo when you sign up and get to $100 match on your first deposit. It's a daily fantasy app. It's very easy to use. Go win some money with Prize Picks using code Apollo when you sign up. Get up to $100 match on your first deposit. I'm your host, Stone Strankman, joined always by Dom Garcia. How we doing, bud?
You know, definitely this around town, they've seen better days. It's been a little rough. There's been some highs, been some lows, but we got Stars playoff hockey coming up, and you can never be upset when that's going on.
Yeah, well, rough night. We're recording this the day after the men's national championship game in basketball. So rough night for the Houston Cougars. Shout out to my Florida Gators. Grew up a Florida fan, so that was cool. My grandpa's still a Florida fan. Wore my grandpa's 1967 Florida hat yesterday. So 1967. It's older than my dad. I'm wearing that hat yesterday. So that was cool. Hockey-wise, though, a couple of things have happened. Just a few over the past couple of days. Alexander Ovechkin, all-time goal scorer in NHL history in the most OV way of all time. Incredible. 895.
And the broadcast did an awesome job kind of setting everything up that day. You had a feeling that, that he had been on such a tear really all season, but there was no way we weren't going to end that game and Ovi wasn't going to score that goal. Super awesome for the sport of hockey. Unreal. I'm probably never going to, that record will get broken. I think so, but not anytime soon. There's a bunch of really good players. Stars got a few, but to score that many goals for that long of a career, insane. Tip of the cap to Ovi. And it was a really cool moment for the league.
Yeah, I saw something the other day on social media where they were talking about Alexander Ovechkin's career and how he's missed 2.5 seasons, not because of injury. He had 2 lockout seasons and the COVID shortened season. You give him those 2.5 seasons, he's already at 1,000 goals at this point, probably, and could go further than that. Austin Matthews is on a higher goals per game pace than Ovi has been on his career. Ovi is at 0.60 goals per game, and Austin Matthews is at 0.63. However, Matthews is a little injury prone, a little bit. So you got to see if he can stay healthy, and he's got to stay healthy for 20 years, like 21 years to do it. It's a tough thing to do, and it's incredible that we were alive to actually witness LeBron taking the NBA scoring record, and as well as Alexander Ovechkin scoring most goals in NHL history. Like 2 records that pretty much no one thought would ever be broken, and all of a sudden we're just born in the same era as the 2 newest goal and point scoring leader in those 2 sports. It's a crazy time to be alive. So shout out to Alex Ovechkin. Incredible feat, the most OV goal of all time. The swimming dive right after, and the Bantammaker dance. They don't care that they lost the game. They're #1 in the East. They don't care about that. They just wanted to get the goal scoring record out of the way, and then they'll go to the playoffs. So shout out to the Caps. Shout out to Ovi. Hell of a moment. But Stars had a rough weekend. Back-to-back. Had a home game against Pittsburgh with Casey DeSmith in net, and then he had an away game 24 hours later at Minnesota where Otter was in net. 2 games that you easily should have won and somehow easily lost it. It was a lot of miscommunication on the power play. Then you go to overtime, you get a point against Minnesota, but damn, that was just, it was rough. Dadonov had a fucking hat trick against Pittsburgh and no one else could score. Sidney Crosby's left alone on the power play twice during that game, and can't have that happen. He's a point per game guy for 20 seasons. 20 seasons, another record that was broken over the past couple of weeks. And yeah, you can't let that happen. Casey DeSmith, I thought, had a really good game. And then obviously that Thomas Harley and CC collision to give up the lead, I guess, in the third period, or let them tied. I can't remember. It was just a rough weekend, and you knew something was going to happen by the end of the season. Kind of had a couple of bad games because they'd been winning so much. They were on a 7-game win streak and a 9-game point streak, and can't win them all. You obviously want to, and you always expect to as a fan, but you can't win them all. So rough weekend for the Stars, but it's a new week. You got 3 final home games before the playoff starts, and we're in the home stretch finally.
Yeah, we're finally here. The Minnesota game, I got to tip my cap to the attendance. And, hockey country over there up north, those fans brought some juice. And I'm watching the game and I'm like, man, like if the Stars can respond, that'd be hanging them really tough because that crowd's alive and those players on the other side were feeling it. And it's a tough ask. And then the Pittsburgh game, dude, that first Crosby goal, what a beautiful pass. I don't blame any goaltender not blocking that. That was just one of the best players of all time making a play, but him getting set up like that, just it doesn't happen very often. And it is what it is. There was still moments that I liked, but it was just like that kind of, it was like you're watching a baseball game that's really tight and you lose it in like the 7th or 8th inning and you're just like, man, it was right there for the taking. That's basically what the feeling was really for both games.
Yeah, it was tough, and I don't blame the goaltenders really for either one. Obviously, in the Minnesota game, they go to overtime, and 9 seconds in, when they're entering the zone, Robo takes a penalty, trips up a guy when they have the puck, and absolutely cannot do that. Obviously, Minnesota scores pretty much immediately after that, and the game was over. Got a point, but now you're 5 games back in the standings behind Winnipeg. It is almost assuredly going to happen that Colorado and Dallas are going to match up in the first round, which we've been kind of saying is like, if you can get Winnipeg and get the number 1 seed, by all means, do it. But we've been kind of preparing ourselves for the last month or so that it's going to be Colorado and Dallas, and it's going to be a tough first round matchup. But if the Stars win out and Winnipeg loses 2 of their next 4, then somehow the Stars are going to win the division and probably the President's Trophy at the same time. And you don't know if you want that, but the last time that they did that, they won the Cup. 1999, they won the President's Trophy and the Cup. It happens. It hasn't happened since then, but it happens, and it is what it is. Colorado, it's going to be the first round matchup, and you kind of got to deal with it. And the worst part is that Miro Heiskanen is probably not going to play in the first round, according to Jim Neal. Got that over the last few days from Sean Shapiro. Leah had that as well, I believe. So can't mess up on defense like you've been messing up on defense the last 2 games. You can't have that if you're not going to have Miro at all for the first round.
And the TNT broadcast was saying it. I want to say it was the Minnesota game. Like, if you look ahead to that Dallas-Colorado matchup, like, do the Stars have somebody that can counter a Cale Makar? Cale Makar has been unreal this season.
30 goals.
Like, just super talented. And a Miro Heiskanen not on your team, that would be a death sentence for most squads. Dallas is so talented. They're at least going to, not really hinder too bad, but man, if I'm going to play Colorado, I'm glad we have home ice advantage because home Otter is going to be the X factor. I know these last 2 games have looked weird for both goalies, but they've been on their game. You cannot understate that enough, and that's going to give me some confidence definitely going into those games. Just everything going into that series, that's must-watch hockey. I mean, Rantanen playing Colorado, Ottinger at home, all of these star players getting right, and this is going to be the bright lights.
And obviously, second round last year, Matt Duchene, double overtime after already winning the game in the first overtime with Mason Marchment off of a goaltender interference call that never happened, actually. Matt Duchene does the heartbreaker celly. Just, you got so many things that are adding up for the series. It's going to be I would say the best series heading until the Stanley Cup final. Like, that might be the best series of playoff hockey that we get across the board.
Well, NHL and the league and the Players Association are in negotiations right now on a CBA. Why is this not in the Western Conference Final? Like, can we restructure the playoff?
Why is this not a possibility to be the Western Conference Final? Yeah.
We were mentioning this before the pod, but like, the Central Division is the gauntlet of all gauntlets of all divisions in sports. If you're gonna win the Cup, you got to go through one of those heavy hitters in the Central. But does it have to be the first round? Like, can we? Man, it's gonna be fun. But
Peyton Manning and the Pats matching up in the divisional round some years, like that sucked. Like, you want that to be the AFC Championship game for football fans, not for me, obviously, because I hated both of those teams, and so did you probably. So it's like that stuff. But as a general football fan, you want that to be the AFC Championship game if you can have it. Or I just having to play Colorado and then immediately probably having to play Winnipeg, that just doesn't seem right in my thought. Like, if you get to beat Colorado, if you beat Colorado and then all of a sudden you either play Vegas, Winnipeg, Edmonton, like you got to play one of those teams next. Like, if we're doing 1 through 8, obviously the Stars are going to be the 2 seed, and then they get the 7 seed, which is either going to be Minnesota or St. Louis. And you're like, okay, that is a first round matchup. That is a powerhouse versus a team that made the wild card. That makes sense. Second round, you might get matched up with Colorado. Maybe. If no lesser team wins in the first round, then you might still get Colorado in the second round. But that's okay, because you got not a cupcake, but an easier matchup in the first round. And then the final round of the Western Conference Finals, you get Winnipeg, Edmonton, Vegas, one of those teams. All of that makes sense to me. This does not make any sense. It was cool for 3 years, 4 years, and now we're in year 10 of this, basically, 9. It is a disaster that the Central Division has to just beat up on each other just to play a Pacific Division team that's probably a fucking gauntlet at that time, Vegas or Edmonton, like it was last year. Like, we got Vegas because Vegas wasn't as good last year in the first round, and we won the division, won the Western Conference, and you get Vegas, and you got to go 7 games. So the path in the Western Conference is just horrendous for every team, not just the Stars. It is not fair that the Western Conference is so much better at hockey than the Eastern Conference is. It doesn't make any sense why it is that way. It's the way in the NBA. It's the way it is here. It's the way it is in the NFL with the AFC. Like, every team has just a top 5 quarterback, and you got to go through Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, like multiple time MVPs over there, Super Bowl winners. Like, it sucks. It is the way it is, but it doesn't have to be. 1 through 8 is a must for me. And if you expand and you keep this format for the playoffs and you add an extra team to the playoffs, fuck that. You go 1 through 9, first round bye for the first seed in both conferences. That would make sense to me, but I'm not Gary Bettman, and Gary Bettman doesn't want to change it. So I'm back on my Gary hate, even though he's done pretty good for the last couple of years, honestly. Like, he's expanded the salary cap by $25 million over the next 3 years, and you're getting new media deal rights in Canada. You got the ESPN TNT deals in America. Like, you've got a lot of good things going for you. This is the most hockey that people have watched since forever, I guess. Like, Ovi going for the goal record and actual good hockey. You can actually access it on ESPN Plus if you just want to watch a random game. It's very accessible. All of those things. Great job by Bettman. He was getting off my shit list. But then him coming out and saying, yeah, we're not going to do 1 through 8. We're going to keep the division thing going alive. So it's stupid and it's dumb. And I love playoff rivalries, but let them happen organically. Don't have to force them. Like, the Mavericks and the Suns were a final, or like a Western Conference Finals, or the second round of the playoffs, and they went 7 games in 2022, and that became a rivalry because of it. Then they obviously broke up. Then you get Minnesota and OKC with the Dallas Mavericks. Like, those were rivalries that were budding, and then obviously Luka Doncic gets traded. So, like, now it's not. But those happened organically. That just happened because of matchups. That happened 1 through 8. Let it be 1 through 8. Let it happen organically. That's how you get more viewers into it. Don't force the Dallas versus Colorado thing, because it's been a thing for 30 years at this point. Mid-90s, when both teams were zooming, whoever won that playoff series was probably either going to the Cup or winning the Cup for 5-7 years. And it just happened organically. And now it's not happening organically, and I think it's done.
Yeah, dude. Imagine the Ravens playing the Chiefs in the first round of the playoffs. Like, yeah, it's a great first round, but like,
you don't want that.
You don't want, yeah. Like, like you said too. I mean, Gary has actually done a pretty good job, but this playoff thing ain't it.
It's got to get fixed. But I guess the Players Association is going to have to force that on Gary. Like, hey, we need to vote on this. Like, I need a vote, because I don't think the players want to match up with Colorado or Winnipeg in round 1 when they've won 50 plus games in the season. Like, Dallas does not deserve to have to play the hardest teams throughout the entire playoffs when they're the number 2 overall seed in the Western Conference, number 3 overall seed in the entire league. They're the 3rd best team in the league, and they got to play the 2 hardest teams in the Western Conference in back-to-back series before they can get to the Western Conference final. Like, we're not even talking about the Cup final or the Western Conference final. You got to do that round 1, round 2. You're not even close at that point. You still have 20 games left after round 1.
I remember last year thinking, like, if Dallas can make a cup run, it would be the most historic, hardest run they could have made. And now this year, I'm looking at it like
It's the
we might
same
have that
thing.
same thing again. Like,
Same thing. It's brutal. Brutal. But this week, the last homestand of the regular season for the Dallas Stars, we got Vancouver, Winnipeg, and Utah. We'll be back on Friday to recap the first two games and preview the Utah and Detroit games. But it's the last homestand tonight. As we're recording this Tuesday, April 8th, it is Wyatt Johnston bobblehead night. We knew what happened last time on bobblehead night. Otter shut out 38 saves or something like that. Just stellar, impeccable play. I'm expecting the same from Wyatt Johnston.
yeah, and I'm expecting a packed barn. I've even seen tweets right now of people are like, man, I'm in about 30 minutes. I'm going to head to that arena because I'm not missing it. That Otter line, I wasn't there, but they're saying that Otter bobblehead line was like, how do these people have tickets? Like, what? There's like thousands of people.
I haven't seen it like that other than playoffs where people are lined up to get in the arena right at 5:30 when they open the doors. Like media can walk in before 5:30. We can get in there. We can go to the media room. We can go down into the tunnel. We can go up to the press room. Like we can do all the things. That line was ridiculous just before getting in. And then I walked in and the line is wrapped around the concourse to get the bobblehead. That line was after the doors had already opened. And the line in the concourse to get the bobblehead was wrapped around the entire concourse. I was going to get a bobblehead. I thought about it, but I was like, I'll just sneak in a little early, get it there. I'll get there right at 5:30. They were already letting people in, and that line was so long. I was like, screw it. I'll just go up to the press box and I'll hit Courtney up and see if she can snag me one. She did, luckily. So we'll see what happens tonight with the bobblehead. But it's against Vancouver, a team that's a kind of injury riddled, drama riddled throughout the rest of the season, and I don't think they have a shot. Like I'll look at the standings real quick, but I don't think they can make the playoffs at this point. Like they're not eliminated technically, but they're behind the Flames, they're behind the Wild, like they're behind. Yeah, they're behind the Flames, Wild, and Blues, and right now I don't see a way that they can get there. They're at 83 points. They need to get to 91. There's no way. They're not mathematically eliminated, but they're pretty much eliminated. So at this point, just control Quinn Hughes and Pettersson and just make sure they don't do any damage to you and just play your game of hockey and let that top line do some work, let that second line do some work and go get 2 points, go get right after the past weekend and then focus on Winnipeg.
Yeah, literally just play him exactly how you played him last time. I think we played him at home, if I remember correctly, and we played him really well. I know the power play hasn't been like
it's been a little rough the last 3 games or 4. Yeah.
But I still like the passing that's been going on. The entries have been a lot better than I would say like a month ago. Like when Rantanen first got in, like the entries have been really good. The Pittsburgh game, puck possession in the neutral zone was a little scary.
Sloppy. Yeah.
But like I think I've noticed that Mikael Granlund, like he's in control even if it doesn't look like it. Like he's just like it's a little wacky body control, but he's still in control of things. I'd like to just see that stellar passing that I've seen in the past power plays. I know we haven't scored recently, but a really good power play, P1, P2, and just literally play Vancouver the same way you did and come back with some points.
Yeah, what you mentioned about Granlund, though, I saw it during the Nashville game. He is in the third period, I believe, and he entered the zone, and there's 3 or 4 guys around him. There's no Dallas Stars players in the zone. They're going through a line change. He just got it in and trying to save some time, try to keep puck possession, see if he can get it out. He deked through like 4 or 5 guys where he was just doing this over the puck. He was just going back and forth over the puck, spinning, skating. Like it was incredible, and it's a play that you won't ever talk about. The announcer probably didn't say anything about it. I just noticed it, and I was like, that's insane that he was just able to do that 1-on-4. And there's 3 guys surrounding him, and there's no Stars players in the general vicinity of him. Like, he has no way to give anyone the puck. He has no way to get out of where he's at. And somehow he did it. And then he got the puck off, and they got a pretty good shot on goal right after that. But like you said, the power play, they're not scoring right now, but I think they're creating good chances outside of that 4-minute power play to start the game against Nashville. They've been a lot crispier, a lot more ozone time, and they're getting good shots on goal, even if the puck's not going in the net. You want the puck to go in the net. I get that, but it's all about the process with the Stars team and making sure you're doing things the right way as opposed to the wrong way and lucking into it. Like DeBoer is very adamant about doing things the right way. and so is Steve Spott and everything. So doing it the right way, getting quality shots on net and not being afraid to shoot it is a big thing. Don't want to put a bad shot on net because then he's going to get pissed off. But if you put a good shot on net with a good passing, and then obviously you get a rebound, and then Thomas Harley shoots it, and then it's in the net. It just kind of happens. So, yeah, keep the power play going. Get the good shots on net. The goals will come. They will. We got too many good guys on that power play 1 and 2. Like, they're going to score, and I'm not worried about it. Some people are, but I'm not. I think they're fine. And the PK, I mean, they've been doing their job. They're number 1 in the NHL. Not worried about them. Even if they got the 2 power play goals against them against Pittsburgh, and I think and then they had the 1 against OT in Minnesota. So shit happens. It is what it is. They're going to score on the power play at some point. It's 84%, 85%. So there's 15% of the time they're going to score. That's okay. If you're best in the NHL, you can deal with that.
Yeah, and there's a push-pull with, I would say, even though we've lost the last 2 games, like the refs haven't been as bad as normal. But even if we have really bad refs, our PK is so good. It's like, as much as I can go out and bitch, like we ended up killing those wrongful penalties that we get anyway. So it's kind of like a, pick your poison kind of thing.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it was DLS or Spittin' Chicklets. A few months ago, they were talking about how getting a power play like right off the bat in a game is kind of disruptful to getting into your rhythm, because all of a sudden you're thrown out there and you're expected to go get a goal and you haven't even skated yet. What if we just went out there and we sent a guy that doesn't play PK and just like go trip a guy immediately? First 15, 20 seconds of the game, go get on the PK immediately, get into the rhythm of the game, and then all of a sudden the offense is just off and running. I don't know. It's a stupid thing to do, but it's also, it seems like every time we get an early penalty, they don't score, and all of a sudden the Stars are scoring right after that. It's a weird conundrum with this team. Like, if they get 5 penalties in a game, they usually win the game. It's like 95% of the time. If they have 5 or more penalties, they're winning the game, which is egregious. Like, if you're having that many penalties and you're having to go into PK that for 10 minutes of the game, like, it's so stupid, but it works. They just get into a rhythm when they're on the PK, and then all of a sudden the offense is fine after that because they want to make up for the mistake that they had with the penalty. So it's a stupid thing, but that's why I'm not Pete DeBoer, obviously. He's like, yeah, just send, I don't know, who doesn't kill penalties? Robo? Just send Robo out there for 2 minutes, put him in the box, and just see what happens. Because then you got Wyatt Johnston and Colin Blackwell and Sam Steele and Oscar Back and all these forwards that play the PK unit. And go get them in rhythm real quick, and then put that top line back out there with Robo at the end of the power play, and maybe get a goal. I don't know. Just spitballing at this point. We got 5 games left in the regular season. I'm ready for playoff talk.
I've seen Robo fly out of that penalty box before and just put an absolute heater on net. So maybe you're onto something.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. He's done it twice this season where he popped out of the penalty box and got a goal immediately. It's impeccable. It's very funny. I don't know. But then you got Winnipeg on Thursday night. What I want to see from this game is ozone time. Don't let them get on the rush. Control the blue line. Like, you didn't do that against Winnipeg earlier a few weeks ago when we were up there in Winnipeg, and you just didn't have a good game. I want to see just a good quality game. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. But I just want to see ozone time. I want to see good shots on net, and I want to see controlled puck time in the getting through the blue lines. I want to see clean entries. I want to see all of that, and then control on the defense where you're not letting them have clean entries and that kind of stuff. I just want to see how we kind of match up at home against Winnipeg. Obviously, we don't play them well in Winnipeg right now, but that doesn't mean anything because the playoffs are a completely different beast. And you never know what Hellebuck you're going to get in the playoffs. Obviously, he had a really good Four Nations tournament, but he hasn't been good in the playoffs before. If you match up with them in round 2, then it's seemingly okay if you have a good game this time. But obviously, regular season doesn't mean shit at this point. Like we saw it last year. They won 1 or 2 games against the teams that they beat in the regular season, Colorado and Vegas, and then they won the season series against Edmonton and lost that in the playoffs. So anything can happen in the playoffs. Regular season doesn't mean anything. But just want to see a good quality game. I would love to win, obviously. I want to see the win. I want to have a happy locker room when I go down there for pressers and have that. But go get 2 points or just play a good quality game.
In that Winnipeg game, I want to see how Mikko Rantanen plays. I really want to see him and Rupe feed off of each other. That's going to be a look that Hellebuck hasn't seen, those 2 gigantic Finns making plays. That's really the key I'm looking for. And yeah, I want the fans to bring some energy, because is it a game that day matters in the standings? Not really. But if you can put Winnipeg on their heels, that's going to send a message to them that, man, if we meet up, it, we're going to bring it. And so there's not a lot on the line, but there's also so much on the line with that game. And that if you're just a casual hockey fan, I would be paying attention to that one, because I imagine Hellebuck will be, or Hellebuck's gonna be in net, and I imagine Otter will be in net as well. I don't know if Otter's gonna be in net tonight, but both goalies have been stellar for the Stars, so it's gonna be really good goalie play, and hopefully it's really good offensive forward play as well.
Yeah, let's take a gander and see who's in net. Or they might not even have morning skate, since they probably got back yesterday. I'm just checking everybody's Twitter, see who went to morning skate, who didn't. Expecting Casey DeSmith to start tonight against the Canucks, which he used to play for him. So it's kind of another get-back game, which he played them really well the last time he played against the Canucks. I think that was the last game at home.
Pardon me, because I haven't been paying attention completely, because there's been some stuff going on down here. What happened to Sam Nessler?
Appendicitis. Had to have surgery a couple weeks ago. I think it's 2 weeks ago now that he had surgery. And yeah, him and Robert went on the IR pretty much around the same time.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is an important time for Stars content, and there's no Sam Nessler right now. Like, something bad must have happened.
Yeah, he had to have surgery, appendicitis, I believe, is what it was. So I think he was back in the building this past weekend against Pittsburgh. So I think he's back. I think he's healthy. Robert Tiffin dislocated his toe through his shoe in Seattle. He traveled with the team in Seattle, not with the team, but went to the Seattle games, the back-to-back games there, and somehow missed a step and dislocated his toe somehow. I don't know how that happens. Can't wait to talk to him about that. But yeah, both really good Stars reporters, just on the IR for a couple of weeks there to head into the playoffs. So not ideal timing, but
yeah,
I know both of them will be back for the playoffs. I think Sam's already back. So we'll see tonight, see if the boys are back.
Yeah, man, those two guys, like, it's the landscape of like covering hockey. Like, Stars fans are just spoiled with how good those dudes, both Nessler and Tiffin, cover. If you follow Clean Sheet Ice, I follow DLS. It's one of the best coverages of hockey, period. And man, that's pretty remarkable that he's going to come back so quick. I mean, hopefully Seguin comes back healthy, and now I know we got Nessler back covering the Stars.
Yeah, Segi was on the ice for morning skate. They were tweeting pictures about it, and he's getting closer. My best guess is those last two games. He comes back for either both of them or just one of them. The last two games of the regular season in Detroit and Nashville. So no home games before the playoffs, but he'll be back. He'll be back game one. I'm not worried about that. Miro Heiskanen, though, it looks like he's just not going to be back for round one, which stinks, but kind of expected. By the time he started skating, I was like, that's the only shot he has at coming back in round one. Maybe if he goes 7, he shows up for game 7, but we'll have to see. And you don't have to do any cap navigating at that point. LTIR salary cap does not matter in the playoffs, so Miro can come back whenever he's back to being healthy. So that'll be huge. But 2 big games this week. Vancouver, obviously, just get a get-back game, get good right, and Winnipeg, go get a win. I want to see a win against Winnipeg. I know we had one earlier in the season, but I just want to see it at home ice and see how they match up against them if they end up playing in round 2. So it's a tough matchup. It's a tough road in the playoffs. It's always a tough road, but the Stars' road the last 3 years have been just gauntlets. It's just been rough. Like that Minnesota game, or Minnesota and Seattle series in 2023, those were no easy matchups. Minnesota played hard. They hit hard. They obviously injured Pavelski in, was that game 1? Was it Dumba? he concussed Pavelski in game 1 or 2, and then you had Seattle, who was just playing out of their minds that season. They were fast and young and just matched up really well against the Stars. Goes game 7, and then you get Vegas, and they were a gauntlet, LTIR merchants at that time. And now we're in that position. So hopefully it works out for us and we get that LTIR magic that the Vegas Golden Knights had for a couple of seasons there, and see what happens. But we got 5 games left in the regular season, and then it's playoff time. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to be in the building for every home playoff game and just see the magic happen.
Yeah, I can't wait for Matt Duchene to do something that like just erupts all of American Airlines Center and this the entire city of Dallas Fort Worth area. Like he's that guy that just when you need him most, that's when he appears. And it might not be scoring, it might not be passing. Like he's just always gonna find a way to be so impactful. Best contract in hockey. And like in a playoff series, your big players are always going to cancel each other out. And it's those Matt Duchenes, it's those Dodonovs. Those are the guys that step up when, margins are really thin. And luckily, Jim Nill has done a great job in finding those talents. And I'm prepared. I know it's going to be the roughest run of all time, but, starts with round one. And I think with Tyler Sagan come back, I think we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I think Granlund now steps into that Dadonov position. And he's objectively a better player. And I love Daddy. He's very funny in the locker room. He's very open with me. And it's been a blast to watch as well. But now Granlund's in that situation and Dadonov's on your fourth line. It's like you got shit everywhere. And I'm excited to see Mikko Rantanen in a Dallas Stars uniform during playoffs. He's played 82 games, I think, in the playoffs in his career. He has over 100 points in his playoff career. Over a point per game player in the playoffs. We haven't had that in a while, ever. I don't know, like Brett Hull and Modano. Those were the last time you had those kinds of guys that have played an exorbitant amount of playoff games and have over a point per game. And Mikko, if he starts scoring or just has 2 assists every night with that top line, it's disgusting. It's disgusting, and I'm excited to see it in the playoffs. But 5 more games. We're almost there. Shout out to our sponsor, Zing Zang, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix, and shout out to Prize Picks, our daily fantasy app of choice. Use code Apollo when you sign up and get to $100 matched on your first deposit. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you, Dom. Thank you to Stars fans. We'll be back very, very soon with another episode of Clean Sheet of Ice, the Texas Hockey Podcast.